Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lugs podcast, episode number 4. I'm your host, AJ. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
What's up?
Throwing it back to the old Budweiser commercials.
That's right. Hey, former junior sponsor, too, so represent.
That's true. So, we had a eventful weekend.
Very eventful weekend. Good racing, controversy football games.
Yeah, we weren't able to get the podcast up until Saturday. With that, we didn't get so many. I don't know if it's been up long enough for us to get enough listeners yet to be ready for this one. But I'm sure by the time this one airs, we'll be ready.
Bring it.
So, what did you do this weekend, Ryan?
Worked this weekend. Enjoying work. My brother's trying to ask me a question as I'm recording.
Ask the question.
Yeah, there goes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Scott asked the question, it sounds like, as we're recording. All right, let's go. But no, anyways, my weekend was very eventful. Had a nice weekend. Watched a little bit of their football games that were Saturday. Went out to a party. Watched a little bit of the truck race on Saturday after work. Enjoyed the race Sunday with watching the Lions and Falcons game as well.
Yeah.
Controversy there as well.
Falcons won that one fair and square.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Same thing here, really, minus the truck race. I didn't get to watch the truck race. I didn't get to watch much of the Xfinity race either because Georgia was playing the same time the Xfinity race was on. So I didn't get a chance to watch much of the Xfinity race either. I did see the last 5 laps of it, though.
Wasn't it the Battle of the Bulldogs, too? Mississippi State and Georgia?
Yeah,
the Battle of the Bulldogs.
It was the first time I think they played each other since 2011.
Oh, wow.
So it was a big win for Georgia, that's for sure. I was excited to see them win.
Definitely. They're looking pretty good so far. Hey, Michigan won, hung on by the hair, but they still got it done. Defense is playing really, really well this year for them this year. See what happens going down the road.
Yeah, speaking of football, I had a terrible fantasy week, that's for sure. Out of the 5 leagues that I do, 3 of them being for money, and 1 of them being the one I run, I am 0-3 in that league that I run. So,
ouch. Yeah,
I'm not too happy, but the other ones, I'm 2-1 in, so I'm totally fine. But that one just pisses me off a little bit.
Yeah, I had a bad week in the fantasy football aspect of it. In my big money league, I think I was getting beat at one point by almost 110. The guy I was facing had Brady, who went off, Jordan Howard, Doug Baldwin. Oh, man, it was a bad fantasy week. Fantasy NASCAR, on the other hand, I thought I did pretty well. I picked the winner of the race.
Yeah, and on fantasy, the NASCAR league that we're in, I took home the checker flag again in that. And I have a new theory, or not a new theory, but a new style I'm using for the final couple weeks of the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's that?
I set my lineup for Chicago. Set my lineup for Chicago. I'm not changing anything of it until after Homestead for next year.
Really?
I'm setting and forgetting for the final 10 weeks of the season, and so far I've got 2 wins out of 2 races.
You can't beat that.
Nope, it is not changing.
How many Toyotas do you have in there?
I think I have 4.
Well, good way to start.
Yeah, they're consistent enough. And then I won in Yahoo as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's
a
rarity.
I miss doing the Yahoo when you can only pick the drivers 9 or 10 times a year. I like that.
See, that was what I was doing going into it. Was this year, because last year was the first year I did Yahoo, and that was the first year I was, you can only use drivers so many times and whatever. So my motto going in was I'll only use, the top level drivers 5 times during the regular season, and then save the 2 big dogs at the end for the final 10 races, 5 and 5. So I've been alternating my A driver between Busch and Truex, and it's been working out because I finished 2nd last week and 1st this week.
Oh, wow. That works out pretty good.
Yeah. So I started off last, and I think I moved up 1 or 2 spots already out of 12. So, we're all pretty close knit together, so I think I might be able to make a run.
Final 8, what is it? Final 8 now?
Yeah.
We can make that run. Make that run.
Yeah, I'm going to try to at least. I know I'm leading the standings for playoffs, so that's good.
That's always a good thing.
Speaking of playoffs and a weekend of really bad publicity, man. The whole politics of the football game and all that. At least Trump had some good things to say about NASCAR this week.
Yeah, that he did.
I don't know if
Hey,
people heard it. The tweet was so proud of NASCAR and its supporters and fans, they won't put up with disrespecting our country or our flag. They said it loud and clear. Hey, thanks for recognizing us, Mr. President.
Yeah, he definitely did represent NASCAR well with that tweet for sure.
In a weekend of where people look negatively on him, I know not every NASCAR fan, but seeing that put a little smile on some NASCAR fan faces, that's for sure.
Yeah, I forgot I think I was watching Around the Horn today, and they were talking about that a lot of these NFL owners put in a lot of money towards his campaign, and for them to protest against him, it was just it's weird. So, but like I said, though, kudos to NASCAR for everybody standing up.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's been awesome. Everyone, the one sport you can look at where no one is kneeling or anything is NASCAR. Everybody's up on their feet. Everyone's got a hand over their heart or holding a little American flag in their hand. Everyone participates in it.
Did you hear what Richard Petty and Richard Childress said?
Yeah.
That if you want to take a knee, then after the anthem, get on the bus and basically get the hell out of my race team.
Hey, man, I've had a lot of family members and friends that have fought for that flag, so I'm totally for it.
Both my grandfathers and uncle fought in Vietnam, so I'm right there with you.
It's right at home.
Yes, it does.
We got a little bit of show news. Ryan and I, we've got a special guest coming on here within the next couple weeks.
Nice.
I'm not going to mention who it is because I have a message in with this person right now to see if maybe he'll come on next Monday for the show.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, but it's going to be we're going to keep it a super secret.
We're going to try to keep it a super secret only because he hasn't messaged me back yet. But if he messages me back during the show, then we'll definitely get it on this episode.
Hopefully he does.
So you ready to get this show rolling, Ryan?
Yeah, we're that was our pace laps right there.
That's
we're
what
coming
that was. We'll call that pace laps.
Yep, we're coming to the green flag right now.
Well, we're actually coming up to gas and go.
Oh, well, we need to start the race first, then gas and go.
So why don't you call the introduction green flag?
There we go. We could do that.
So gas and go, man. This is where we do the recap of the race during the weekend, and we had a busy race weekend. All three Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series were all in action this weekend.
Yes, they were. 2 at New Hampshire, and the Xfinity Series was at Kentucky. Along with the ARCA cars were out there Thursday, I thought.
Yeah. Who won that? Was it Austin Terrio?
No, it was Friday. Yeah, Terrio. I think he has a commanding point lead. I think they said in the broadcast all he's got to do is start the next race, and he basically locked up the championship. Only a catastrophic collapse, and then he won't win the championship.
I hear you. Well, let's get into the Truck Series, man. Christopher Bell punches his ticket to the next round.
That he did. I watched a little bit of that race. The fiance and I, we went out to lunch, tried a new restaurant in town. But I got home in time to see the final stage, and some good racing for sure.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. I didn't get to see it, like I said earlier, so that's where I'm leaning on you for this one.
Yeah. My dark horse in this chase for the Final Four, yeah, he had I think they said it was a vibration, and they had to go underneath the hood, and they took him back behind the wall, which is John Hunter Nemechek. I thought he was going to be my dark horse, but hey, still 2 races to move on.
I had that
we'll see what happens.
Problems with right here. I put problems with John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan's pick. I was like, you know what? That's what Ryan gets for picking an underdog in the Truck Series.
Hey, there's still plenty of racing left to go.
Oh, no doubt about that. But
I think they're at Vegas this weekend too. So Vegas is a fast track.
Yeah, they are at Vegas Saturday night. This is the point in the season where the stages don't really matter anymore, so we're not going to cover too much into the stage racing aspect of it.
Yeah, basically just the winners and where the playoff
winners,
contenders
top 5,
finish.
And then a little recap of the race. But top 5 in this one was Christopher Bell, Ryan Truex, was it Todd Gilliland? Not Todd Gilliland. Yeah, Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, it's Todd.
I was thinking of David Gilliland.
You're thinking? Yeah, David's not going back to the trucks, is he?
Yeah, it's just a little lapse in judgment right there. Grant Enfinger and Stuart Friesen round out your top 5. So out of all that, only one Chase driver in the top 5. Playoff.
I'm saying Chase too, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's a hard habit to break, seeing as how that's what it's been for the last 15 years, just about.
About that.
So since 2004. Up until
I tell you what, though, that Christopher Bell kid's something, though. He ran a great race, good pit call. And I tell you, a kid I'm starting to follow, starting to like a lot, is the Ryan Truex.
Ryan's been coming up. I don't know if you've seen his things on Twitter, but he's got he's got these T-shirts that have like a little outline of a truck with his number on it, and it says "Go Ryan" underneath it, just in bold letters.
Hey, I think I need to get that shirt.
No doubt at all. So jumping into the standings a little bit, with the win, naturally Bell is in the next round. He's followed by Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Austin Cindric, and Kaz Gralla. And the outside looking in, bottom 2, Chase Briscoe and John Hunter Nemechek. It's kind of early. Do you think Nemechek and Briscoe can bounce back, maybe get into the next round?
I definitely think they can. In Vegas, what a great way to do that. Throw a little gambling. Going out to Vegas, gamble a little bit with your truck.
To win it.
There you go.
Yeah, so like Ryan said, next race is at Las Vegas, Saturday night, 8:30, and it's on Fox Sports 1.
Isn't that like, it's a night race too, like 9:30 or something like that?
Well, 8:30 our time, Eastern.
Eastern.
Yeah. Xfinity Series was at Kentucky. They went out Midwest a little bit.
Yeah, that's I like that track, Kentucky. Yeah, it's sort of Midwest. Yeah, definitely Midwest. I mean, I guess I can call it South. You can call it North.
Yeah, we're gonna buy a globe for the show, just so this way we can see where everything is.
If people know if Kentucky is considered Southwest or anything like that, please send us a shout out on Twitter. Be like, hey, this is where Kentucky Speedway is.
Take a poll.
I know it's in Sparta. Yeah, we're gonna take a poll. Northwest, Southwest.
Kentucky's like right in the middle. Like it's not Midwest, but it's not South. It's there. Kentucky's there.
And I've been there, and all I know is we went south.
Getting into Kentucky, isn't it like all nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, racetrack?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's right off the interstate. I can't remember what the interstate number is on it, but it's right off the interstate. From where our seats were at for the race at Kentucky, we could see the interstate from our seats, which was kind of cool.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun track. I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, go ahead.
Speaking
with
the
Kentucky recap. Yeah,
Tyler Reddick, first Xfinity Series win.
Congratulations, former BKR driver in the Truck Series.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing him get the victory lane and then tear the house down with his burnout.
I missed the burnout.
I don't think he blew the tires, but man, did he put on a smoke show.
That's always cool when they do the smoke shows.
It looked like
I like that.
It looked like he was so nervous that he didn't know how to do a burnout. Like it's almost like he forgot.
It's like, how do I do this again? Hey,
Trevor Bayne did that at Daytona. I don't even know how to do this.
Hey, crew chief, how do you do this again? Oh yeah, put it in. Yeah, let's go. Burn them down.
Your top 5 for the race: Tyler Reddick, Brennan Poole, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, Brennan. Did I put Poole in here twice? No, Brennan Poole. Okay, I thought I put Poole in here twice. Yeah. No,
Poole finished second.
I did. We'll have to take that part out.
Oh yeah.
No, top 5 again. I'll go over it again. I went down into standings instead of just reading top 5. Tyler Reddick, Brennan Poole, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, your top 5, and your point standings, which is where I messed up here. Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Elliott Sadler, Daniel Hemmick, William Byron, Brennan Poole, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, and on the outside looking in, you got Brendan Gaughan, Blake Koch, Michael Annett, and Clements.
Jeremy Clements. Yeah. How about that Cole Custer sinking in the point standings right now? I like that.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Custer rounded out in the top 5.
Yes, he did. He's showing some speed in that car.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. He could really. The more I'm listening and the more things I'm reading on Twitter, the Twitter knowledge out there talking about the whole silly season thing, and
very silly.
The more I go on Twitter, the more I see the Cole Custer being brought up for the 10. Makes me a little curious.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but I say give him another year down there. Let him get that win in the Xfinity Series. Maybe he can get it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But let him get his feet wet. Let him get the win.
No doubt. He's won in everything he's been in so far. Well, I say everything he's been in so far. He's been in Truck Series. He won in the Truck Series. He's shown promise in the Xfinity Series. I'd say you put another Xfinity Series season under his belt and then...
Yeah, exactly. I have to agree with that.
He shows he can win.
That he does?
Speaking of struggles, though, William Byron, man. Both of our guys to win the championship. William Byron had a little trouble.
Yeah.
A little engine issues.
That he did. It's still a long way to go. It is
a long way to go, but this is the wrong time to be having engine struggles.
That it is, but the best to get them out the first race instead of when you're trying to make it advance to the second round.
This is almost like when you start at Daytona. It's a fresh season. You can't really lose it in the first race, but you can't win it either. So, first race, you get the kinks out, like you said.
Exactly. Get those kinks out. Get the jitters out. He should have won the trucks championship last year, but he had one of the bad races. I think it was the Homestead race. He had an electrical issue or something with the truck and didn't win the championship, but he was poised to win it then. I think he can do it, still come back, bounce back, get into the second round, and you'll be all right.
That's the only thing I fear about Byron is that I guess you could call it a choke job last year in the Truck Series championship because that was his to lose going into it, and it looked like he was going to win it, until his last 3 races of the season.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now I'm looking this year, and it's like I'm hoping those struggles don't, or that aspect of it comes back into this season.
It doesn't come back and bite him.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
The 9 cars won a championship from JRM before.
That it has.
So, I think William will be fine. Coming to a couple tracks where I think they'll do well at here coming up.
Dover.
Yeah, Dover. It's kind of like Dover's weird because it's not a short track, but it's not a mile and a half. It's in between.
It's a mile.
It's the Monster Mile.
Yep. I call it the Bristol on steroids.
That exactly. The Bristol on steroids.
Well, my dad
for it.
Well, my dad came up with the nickname, and I sort of copyright it. So.
It's one of those tracks that it takes a lot of patience to get around there, and you got to keep it off the wall. But I think if Byron can keep it off the wall, he'll definitely finish in the top 5 next week. I'd call that right now.
I remember some wrecks that happened at Dover. It feels like they were at Talladega or Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
Car comes up, and they always come back down on if they crash, they come back down. Everybody's going low, runs right into them. It happens a lot. I remember Logano. I think, it was Joey Logano flipping there.
In recent memory, it seems like Dover is a lot more beating and banging than, say, Bristol has been lately.
I tell you what, I think this weekend at Dover, you're going to see some beating and banging in all the series that are racing there this weekend, Xfinity and the Cup Series.
Higher Emotions is going to bring that out.
That it is.
So their next race, like we're talking about, is Dover, Saturday at 3 o'clock. On NBCSN. We're going to move on to the Cup Series. An eventful weekend in the Cup Series this weekend.
That's no trash talking on Twitter from what I saw.
No trash talking, but man, what's with Joey Logano during qualifying?
Yeah, and then in practice he sat in his car.
Yeah, they penalized
with the window net up.
That is so dumb. Why are you going to sit him at the end of pit road in his car, strapped into his car, and penalize him for his car not passing inspection 4 times in qualifying?
Exactly. I seen on Twitter though, people are going up to the car with a picture. It looks like you couldn't really tell him because the window net was up. Like he was looking at the people as they were taking a picture of them and all that with the car, like doing the selfies and all that.
Hey, he's kind of like NASCAR. If you're gonna do this to me, I'm at least gonna have fun with it. while I'm strapped.
Exactly.
You gotta imagine how hot that car must have been. Him just sitting in there in the fire suit, the helmet, and all that.
Yeah, I don't even think the engine was on.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the engine was on either, but it's just one of those things where you wonder why NASCAR does the things that they do. It's like,
especially with Kyle Larson a few times this year qualifying, where they're not making inspection and all. What the time are they starting these inspections before qualifying when they've already run 2, sometimes 3 practices before they do the qualifying? What are they thinking? It's like, okay, we have 40-some cars. We're going to be this critique on one certain area of the car to not let them get in through the inspection line, then have them fix it barely to get back out there qualifying. It's happened to, like I said, Larson a couple times, and unfortunately it happened to the 22 this weekend.
Look, here's how you make it a little bit better. As soon as final practice ends, let them go back, debrief. Give them about, I'd say, an hour. Or an hour-ish. Start sending the cars to tech for qualifying.
Exactly.
Get it done right away. So this way we don't have to sit here, listen to the conspiracies about why these cars can't get out there, why tech's taking so long. Let them get out there. Because this whole sitting on pit road during practice is stupid. With 6 minutes to go in qualifying, and Joey Logano has to move his car back into the garage because he has no time to make a qualifying lap because the car can't pass inspection. It's crazy. You want to penalize him? You penalize him at the start of the race.
Yeah, have him start at the rear of the field, which basically he did. And didn't he get I think he got a top 10 on Sunday.
He did, and he moved his way up through the field like it was nothing. Like, I think by lap 5 or 6, he was up in 18th or 17th. It was crazy.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't win because they might have cucumbered that one.
Yeah, again. That would. I wonder if the car passed race inspection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow about that. So Kyle Busch won. Not a shock. I picked Kyle Busch to win this week.
I did. I unfortunately I didn't do it on the podcast last week, but I did do it in the fantasy.
Yours truly took Kyle Busch last week.
Go figure. I picked Larson to win. He had a decent day, so.
Yeah, and how about Junior talking about the Larson line this week on Twitter?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because he put out a tweet saying that he thought no one ever did it better than he did. I tell you, that Larson line is what it's become now. He runs it even better than Junior, like he said.
Speaking of Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think we may get into this a little bit later on in the show, but did you see, I think it was Friday at the Media Center, they were asking him about the Chase Elliott car and then the Martin Truex Jr. burnout at Chicagoland, like how they penalized Chase Elliott's car, but they didn't penalize Truex's car for having damage on it during the burnout when you've seen that he blew the tires out.
Yeah. I agree with what Junior said about it. Junior was saying that, you should be penalized if you're blowing out the tires, taking out the crush panels, all that. I say if you blow out the tires, you send it through tech like that, post-race, like that.
Exactly.
Don't put another tire on it. Don't give them a little bit of leniency because there's stuff broken on the car. And a thing that NASCAR did this week, I have it written down in here.
The crew members, they can't go over the wall.
Yeah, the crew.
Until NASCAR gives them. Yeah, the crew can't go over the wall until NASCAR gives them the A-OK and go out there and at your car.
Yeah, you can't go over the wall after the race until given permission, which is avoiding what happened basically with Chase Elliott last week, with the whole tape on the fenders and tape on the spoiler and all that. So, hey, if they're taking strides to fix these things from happening, I'm all for it.
I am too.
Before we get too off pace, your top 5 was Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, and Martin Truex Jr.
How about that wreck coming to the end of stage 2, by the way?
Yeah, that wreck.
When Harvick got stuck in Kurt's car and... If they showed it on the replay, because I had just switched back over to that, and I seen that as it happened, and Harvick's on the gas, and he can't go anywhere. He's spinning wheels started turning, but the car wasn't moving. He was literally stuck in the car.
Yeah, the key.
I haven't seen that in quite some time.
The key guys involved in that wreck were the 41, the 4, the 78, and the 88. And the 78 and the 88 couldn't stay off each other in that wreck. I think they hit each other 3 times.
They tried to back up. Yep, they were backing up, and they backed up into each other.
First they hit each other with the nose, then they hit each other with the bumpers. It was like, when's this going to stop?
Bumper cars at New Hampshire.
And Truex rebounded back to finish in the top 5, and he took 2 tires on that final pit stop. I think if he would have taken 4, he would have had something for Kyle. But he didn't.
Might have had the win.
So he took 2, pulled the Matt Kenseth from the spring race, and it didn't work out for him either. But still, to finish in the top 5 after having those issues, that's impressive.
Very impressive.
Where are we at?
That's why I picked him to win the title this year, because look at that, 2 tires.
Resiliency.
And ends up in the top 5 finish. That's why I picked them. They're running great.
Basically, Kyle won because he got through that wreck unscathed.
Yeah. Almost, it looked like on one of the replays, like he almost maybe brushed the wall, but on the clear replay, it showed that he did not hit the wall. Pretty good driving right there.
Yeah, we like to go back and forth on the Toyota banter, but hey, all power to Kyle. That
we do.
Was some impressive driving he did.
Very impressive.
Clutch driving,
I don't like the fact that he won. I think you can agree to that.
Well, as junior fans, we usually don't.
Yeah, but like you said, it was a good piece of driving for sure to get through that. Especially you see them in-car cameras, and especially with the helmet cam that Fox and NBC have come up with now. The Kurt Busch at Indy, when he had nowhere to go, and you see him slam right into the Boyer car.
I still watch that wreck and flinch.
Yeah, I do too. Every single time I see it.
Yeah. Other than that, I only had on
Chase standings,
the Logano inspection thing.
Yeah.
How about Stenhouse? Yep. Stenhouse, it looked like it was going to be another week where he couldn't stay off the wall.
Oh yeah.
I think it was lap 10 or 11 he got into the wall. It's somewhere early on in the race, and I was just like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, hopefully he can bounce back at Dover this weekend. I'd like to see the Roush car move on, but it's going to be tough at Dover.
I wouldn't say he got lucky. He played out the strategy pretty well because
he
ended up there at the late race caution. He got the wave around when everyone came to pit road. Then the caution came out the very next lap after they went green. So he
went to pit road.
Yeah, he went to pit road. So he ended up finishing. I don't know where he ended up finishing. I think it was the last car in the lead lap.
Trying to take a look at trying to upload it right now as we speak.
But because of that, he's right now into the next round. He's 12th, but he's into the next round. Well, I like the strategy that comes into effect here this late in the season.
Yeah, he's 12th. He's plus 2 points is what they're saying right now on... Oh, no, right here. Stenhouse. He's 105 points behind first right now. But him and Dillon are tied right now with 105 points behind. Then you got Newman at 14th, which is 106 behind.
Yeah, both RCR cars aren't in the next round at this point. Your standings are Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch. With that win, he would technically move up to second. But how they have the playoff standings this is how it lists. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Casey
you missed
Kane.
Jimmy Johnson.
Your bottom 4 being Kane, Busch, Newman, Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
I see Dillon moving on, and if Kurt Busch can put it together, I think he moves on. But Kane and Newman, I'm not surprised to see there right now. 2 races in.
No.
Tell
you what, like we said earlier in the show, that this race at Dover, you may see some bumping and banging. You might see a Martinsville-style race here. If, hey, you're in my way, I'm going to put the bumper to you and move you out of the way to move on.
Oh, yeah. When we come into these elimination races like this, it definitely makes them for an entertaining race, that's for sure.
They make exciting racing for sure, though, and I applaud NASCAR for doing this playoff system.
Especially exactly. Especially at short tracks, though, like Dover, where, there's guys, anyone has a shot to get into the next round at this point, because everyone's within striking distance of each other, really.
And I think both of us have agreed on this in the past. The only problem we have with the playoffs is too many mile-and-a-half tracks.
Yeah, I like to see some more road courses and short tracks mixed in there. I'm a firm believer.
Throw in,
go ahead.
Throw in like a Talladega. I actually Talladega. Never mind. Talladega's already in there. What am I thinking? Look at like a California, Michigan. Hey, it's 90 degrees here in September in Michigan right now. You could have had a playoff race out here. Open up the playoffs at MIS. 2-mile track, fast track. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying because I'm here, but hey, go to put Richmond. You can go Martinsville. Put Bristol in the chase.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in the whole you start or you end it where you start it. I like to see them start at Daytona and end at Daytona.
I would too.
But with that, it would mean you'd have to take out the 4th of July weekend race, which would never happen, and I'm okay with that not happening. But I would like...
What would you put in that spot if you were to?
What's that?
What track would you put in there for the 4th of July?
That's a tough one. It would have to be...
There's one track I could think of right off the bat, and it would actually probably make a little sense. Indy. Make it try to mean something.
Yeah, you could put Indy in there, but I think they're putting Indy in the chase next year, aren't they? Or the race before the chase?
No, the race before the chase. They want to try. That's how they're trying to make it mean something. Because you saw the stands. I mean, Indy holds over 200,000 people there, and they need to do something with it. Indy.
Yeah,
they mentioned them running on the road course there.
I'd like to either see that,
I heard something,
or them run the restrictor plates like the Xfinity Series did, because that was entertaining.
Yeah, that was a very entertaining race.
I mean, I still think the same guys would be up front all the time, but at least there's people behind them that have a shot.
Yeah, the Indy race this year, until Truex and Kyle took each other out, wasn't not that entertaining of a race.
Yeah, after they got taken out, though, it's another story.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. Where are they at this weekend? Oh, that's right, Dover.
Yeah, Dover. Did you forget about that?
Yeah,
in the last 10 minutes?
No. 7-time runs really well there.
Hey, don't you steal my pick already?
Oh, I've already thought about that pick a long, long time ago.
Yeah, you're gonna make me change it, aren't you? Because I think you go first this week.
Oh, I do go first this week. That's right.
But the next race is at Dover, Sunday, 2 p.m. NBC Sports Network. I think we're getting close to the end of the NBC's SN races.
I'm switching to NBC.
And switching to NBC after too long.
I see a lot of people on their race page, the NASCAR and NBC fan page, that a lot of people are complaining that they don't get NBCSN on some cable providers.
Yeah, and being that everyone says that you can stream it, well, you really can't, because if you're not subscribed to that channel, you don't get it.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to watch it on the app, so that doesn't work like that.
Like with my cable provider right now, like when the trucks ran at Eldora, I was happy it was on Fox, the Fox Business Channel.
Yeah, but we don't get
Fox. Yeah, we don't get Fox Sports 2 with our cable provider.
So you didn't get to watch the qualifying, the heat races, and all that.
None of that. Luckily, we got to see the race itself on the Fox Business Channel. I was happy about that, but not having Fox Sports 2, I don't get that.
Yeah, I wish they would just go back to regular programming again. Like they used to do it where it was on Fox, TNT, NBC.
Exactly.
Or Fox, FX, TNT, NBC. ESPN was in there as well, later on. That was perfect because everyone got those channels. Now you've added Fox Sports 1 and NBCSN in, and it's like half the people don't get it.
No, not at all.
And the first race
of the season... And I know there's a lot of people that... there's a lot of people that are complaining about not getting the NBCSN, and I think NASCAR should put all the playoff races on NBC.
Yeah, this is the biggest time of the year. Everyone needs to
just a personal opinion. Exactly, just my personal opinion.
But like I was saying, the first race of the season to me technically is the Clash. It's not a points race, but the Clash is still the first race of the season. Kicks it off. Why is that on Fox Sports 1? Don't you want to give people like an appetizer to the Daytona 500? Put that on Fox.
Yeah, and especially with the duels being on Fox Sports 1 as well.
Yeah, you got people missing out on racing that don't get these channels.
And I think that's something they need to look at down the road. I mean, granted, you probably have to put a little bit of money to put those, like you said, the Clash, and the duels on regular Fox.
There's certain.
It probably costs a little penny.
There's certain weekends where I understand where they won't put it on like the regular channels, like when there's big sporting events going on or whatever.
Understandable.
But this time of year, where NBC only has like football at night, and then now that golf is over because the FedEx Cup just ended yesterday, because this is Monday.
Yes, it did.
Now NBC is wide open. So why not?
I think here's a reason why they've done it like that by keeping them on NBCSN in case there is a rain delay. But here's the thing, though. Okay, we all know that you got Sunday Night Football. Football night in America starts roughly 7 o'clock. I think maybe 7. Yeah, I think 7 o'clock, and it goes until kickoff. You could put, if there's a rain delay, you could put the Football Night in America on NBCSN. If the race runs past the Sunday Night Football kick, then you could possibly switch it over to the NBC or start the football game on NBCSN.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they would ever do.
And besides Phoenix, what race in the recent memory of the chase has been delayed by rain? I can't remember one.
Race that has been delayed by rain in the chase. I thought it was Phoenix.
Phoenix, because that was Junior's last win so far.
Martinsville. When Gordon got his last win.
Oh, that's right. That was
close.
when they were worried about the lights and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was close.
I do remember that. Yeah. I do remember that now that we're talking about it.
See?
Ready to get into some...
What would you do without me?
Yeah, right? My go-to guy. We got a...
Man,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Just keep saying back and forth. For people that don't know, we record this on Skype. So there's a lot of times where we'll talk over each other. We don't mean to do it, but we try to let each other get in their piece before we start talking again. It doesn't always work out that way.
No, not at all. But it's our chemistry. We're working on the chemistry a little bit here. And I've listened to all the episodes that we've recorded from the start to last week. I thought we've done a great job on this podcast.
It's definitely been a big difference throughout all the episodes. I like to go in and listen
very
and see
much.
what we maybe mess up on during the show or what we can improve on. And it's starting.
I know there's some things. That's very true. I know there's some things that I'm like I stutter when I talk sometimes, and I notice that a little bit, or I'll start talking and rambling, and then lose the fact that what I was talking about.
Yeah,
that happens.
The Rambler.
But yeah, like I said, compared to week 1 to week 2, unfortunately we couldn't do anything because of the hurricane. And back at it last week, and I thought last week was one of our better episodes.
Yeah,
we
for
recorded.
missing 2 weeks, it was just like getting back into the old grind, basically.
Like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Get back on and start pedaling.
That's right. So we got a little tire rub going on. News of the week.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's hear it.
Very quiet news week in the week that it's been since we recorded last. The only thing I had on here was Premium Motorsports buying out Tommy Baldwin Racing. I think that has implications on Reed Sorensen's ride. I think Jeffrey's not involved in that. I can't remember who else. I think Corey LaJoie might be involved in that, and the Greg Alding. Other than that, not a big news week. So I figured, Ryan, let's talk some silly season here.
All right, silly season. Here we go.
We got a couple rides that we know are open, and a couple drivers that we know that are without rides. So, the drivers we have available: Matt Kenseth, Danica Patrick, Bubba Wallace, Kurt Busch, with an asterisk because from as far as we know, he's coming back, but Stuart Haas came out and said that they're unsure of their driver lineup next year. So I have an asterisk on him. Eric Almirola, Cole Custer, with a question mark next to Custer.
Like I've said in the past, I think Custer needs one more year down in the Xfinity Series, then come on up.
Yeah, so we can. I agree with that. We can kind of cross Custer off the list here, because I think he's also going to be in Xfinity. But I just think it's funny how you have that 10-car open, and Stuart Haas has kind of been developing Custer along with Junior Motorsports back when he's with the Truck Series. Custer seems like he's kind of that up-and-coming driver right now that's going to get the next big Cup ride if it's not Christopher Bell.
Oh, I think Bell's got one with his name written all over it.
And there's no doubt about that. But right now, I guess the big name would be Custer out of the wild cards of the Xfinity Series to get a ride. Eric
I think
Almirola.
Bell will come up to the. I think Bell's going to come up to the Xfinity Series before he even remotely gets anywhere near a Cup ride.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Which is fine. Which is absolutely fine.
You know, I saw people talking about Christopher Bell jumping over the Xfinity Series and going into Cup, and I just don't. It's too early. It's way different from going to a truck to a Cup car.
Exactly.
Where's Eric Almirola going? I'd say the 10.
Yeah, I think he's in the 10. I see Bubba going to the 43.
I could agree with Bubba in the 43.
I thought they ran good with Bubba in the car when Almirola had that scary crash at Kansas.
Yeah, he did do an outstanding job, being in that car with no Cup experience at that point. But
you could just think too, when Bubba got that ride, he wasn't racing because his Roush ride ceased operations.
Yeah, he was a couple
weeks
removed. And for him to be
sitting on the, yeah, he was like a couple weeks removed, and then he got right back in the car and he ran really good. The first race he had a problem at Pocono with the whole digital dash getting on the pit road and everything. But after that, if you look at his average finishes, it kept moving up race by race. So I think he's going to be setting the 43.
Yeah, I agree with you there. In that digital dash thing, that's got to be something for a driver to get acclimated to. Your first Cup ride.
Of course.
So I don't do any discredit there to Bubba. But now you get into the three big names that are still out there on the market with Matt Kenseth, Danica Patrick, and potentially Kurt Busch, because the 41 apparently is up in limbo at the moment.
I still think Kurt's going to be in the 41. Yeah. I think that it may be a 1-year deal to get, maybe that's the ride that Custer's going to get, is the 41.
Yeah, I would keep Busch in the 41 next year. The former Cup champion, I think he's pretty safe at Stewart-Haas Racing.
Yeah.
But then you come to Danica and Kenseth, and you kind of have two cars wide open here. In the 27 with RCR. And you've got the 44, which hasn't been used this year, for Petty.
Yeah.
Now, Petty is moving shops to a bigger shop, so you could field two cars with it. I wonder if maybe Kenseth gets in at the 44.
Do you think he would really go to Petty Motorsports?
Or the 27. See, I could see either happening. I could see Danica in like a 44 car and Kenseth in a 27, or I could see Danica in the 27 and Kenseth in the
44, yeah.
I'm going to go this way, though, and you tell me how you feel about it. I put Matt Kenseth in at RCR in the 27, and I put Danica Patrick in the 44 at RPM or another ride.
I could see that happening. In fact, that might happen, actually, because they still haven't found anybody for the 27 car yet, have they?
No, they haven't. And at this point, it's either going to close shop or it's going to be it's going to be a car next year. Kenseth's not having a ride. It kind of makes me bitter a little bit because he's proven himself. He's shown he can win. He's a Cup champion, 2-time Daytona 500 winner.
When the jet dryer blew up.
Yeah. Juan Pablo Montoya.
Thank you.
And it is still amazing me that he does not have a ride next year. And I would assume it comes down to sponsorship.
I think that's a lot of it comes down to it was sponsorship, because Jones is getting some sponsorship in the 20 car next year.
But does DeWalt go with Kenseth wherever he goes? Because I don't know what the sponsorship for DeWalt is with Joe Gibbs.
I haven't heard anything on that.
But it's hard for me to see Kenseth in anything but a DeWalt car. Even when he was without it for 3 years or 4 years there. It just was weird for me to see it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to, like we've always said, is sponsorship in the sport. Sponsorship and us fans make the sport what it is today.
No doubt about it.
No sponsorships, there's no cars on track.
No doubt about it. Right, let's get into some...
But yeah,
go ahead.
I could see Kenseth definitely see Kenseth going to the 27.
Yeah. And then Danica, wherever she ends up. I think
because she's basically said... Yeah, she said in an interview if she's not racing Cup, she's not racing at all.
Yeah.
Basically through the idea of her going back to the IndyCar series.
And I don't blame her at all for that. That's not... She wants to be in Cup, and she's made that known.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's pretty much Cup or bust for her. So, if she doesn't get a ride, at least she's sticking to her word.
Which is good for her. Stand up for yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's funny, we're talking about this, and when Stenhouse hit the wall on Sunday, I put up there on Twitter on my account. Boy, Stenhouse having an affair on Danica with the wall again.
Nice.
We're going to move on now. We got a hashtag Ask Lugs question this week, Ryan.
Heck yeah.
This question is from William, @the_Wilson429. And he asks us, how many Roush cars will make next year's playoffs? You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Been avid, lifelong Roush fan.
That's right.
Meeting
Motor City.
both. That's right. Meeting both Ricky Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne. Both really, really nice guys. Very fun to talk to. Me personally, as a personal standpoint, I hope they both get in next year. But I can see Stenhouse getting in for sure next year. Trevor Bayne, I would love to see the 6 car back in victory lane as Mark Martin, one of my favorites of all time. I'd love to see it, but I don't think it'll happen. I think just the 1 car.
Yeah, I see Stenhouse as well being the only one in it next year. He'll probably win a chase race, a plate race, whether it be Daytona, Talladega, before the chase starts. He's actually had some not too bad runs at some short tracks too, Stenhouse. So
yeah, he runs well at Bristol.
He does. So I could see maybe like a Bristol or a Martinsville, Stenhouse running well at. I can't remember if he ran well at Charlotte or not. I thought he ran well at Charlotte.
I thought he had a top 10 at Charlotte in the 600.
Yeah, so there's definitely... Stenhouse is more consistent than, say, Trevor Bayne is. Bayne runs well at restrictor plate tracks, always has. Actually ran well at Indy earlier this year.
Yeah, until he got taken out. On the restart, one of the restarts.
So, Bayne, in a sense, I see getting in based on fuel mileage. I see Stenhouse actually winning his way in.
Oh, I do too.
So, if that answers your question, that's what I go with.
It was a good question. Very good question.
It was a good question. So we thank you, William. Keep sending in your questions in to hashtag AskLugs. Let's do some social media updates, Ryan.
Social media updates. Let's do it.
Yeah, you can tweet us on Twitter @LugsPodcast. Follow us. Give us a shout out using the hashtag LugsPod. And like I said, ask us questions using #AskLugs. We've got like us on Facebook, the Loose Lugs Podcast. You can subscribe to us on Podbean, the Loose Lugs Podcast. And 2 new outlets you can listen to us on. You can now listen to us on YouTube, subscribing to us using the Loose Lugs Podcast on YouTube. And we are finally on iTunes.
Drum roll.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, the Loose Lugs Podcast. Rate us, subscribe us. We'd appreciate it. Go ahead, Ryan, with what you were going to say.
Where's the champagne popping at in the background?
That's right. It's really been a goal for the first couple episodes to get on iTunes and establish ourselves there. With the help of Podbean and all that.
Very true.
Awesome to be on iTunes. We're up to 83 downloads on Podbean.
Nice.
55 likes on Facebook. 40 followers on Twitter. We're up to 7 subscribers on YouTube. How about that for only being active for 24 hours? Well,
no kidding.
In a sense, being active for 24 hours. I got some race videos on there from last year's 500 and this year's 500. And we have. I
should post some of my videos I get from MIS.
Yeah, if you want to send them on over to me, I'll definitely throw them up on the channel.
Definitely.
We got one shout out this week. It is to the one and only @Crew Chief Tony Smith of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Which, by the way, if you have not listened to it yet, go back to their episode from last week. They had BJ McLeod on. It was an awesome interview. Awesome show.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it was really good. So, with that being said, thanks for the follow, Tony. And we look forward to listening to some more Lap Traffic podcasts.
Very true.
You ready to rant, Ryan? You got a rant this week?
I do have a rant this week.
All right, take it away.
All right, here we go. Growing up as a big NASCAR fan as I've been, listening to Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, and the late great Benny Parsons call a race on ESPN, and it would be Dale Earnhardt in the Goodwrench Chevrolet, Mark Martin in the Ford Folgers, Valvoline, even Viagra, and now all of a sudden it's now, oh, there's Joey Logano in the yellow car, or Brad Keselowski in the white car, or Kyle Busch in the cream colored car, or it's not about sponsors. Where's the sponsors at? These announcers. I've heard Rick Allen say it a couple times, but watching the ARCA race the other night, I can't think of the guy's name that's doing the coverage for the ARCA because they switch it up every year, but he's calling out sponsorships for the cars that are on the cars. Where is that in this sport? Why is it not so hard to say, hey, there's Kyle Busch in the M&M's car. There's Ryan Newman in the Cat car. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the National Guard car. Nationwide. How come it's that too, Nationwide, National Guard, Mountain Dew, Budweiser? Why can't they do it this anymore? I don't understand it. Is it because TV saying, hey, the drivers do it so much themselves, you guys don't need to? Is it just because they're lazy on doing it? Because I miss those days. And my brother can vouch for me on this. He rants just as much as I do about this. You need that sponsorships. Like we said earlier in the show, sponsors are what make the sport. Fans are what makes the sport. If your announcers are saying, oh, look at that blue and white car right there, he's going for that lead. I just don't get it. How about your take on that, AJ? That is my rant.
You know, I can agree with what you're saying there, because I can recall numerous times where I don't hear the sponsor, but I hear, there's the number 18 Toyota Camry or the number 4 Ford. In a sport where we're now driven by sponsorship and there's lack of sponsorship, sponsors aren't going to come in if they're not being promoted. And being promoted requires them being said on TV. And if you're not saying them on TV, then they're not getting out there the way they want to be. And what's going to make that sponsor come back? So I agree with that. I agree with that take.
There would be nothing coming back if they don't announce the sponsorships. I mean, granted, yeah, the drivers do announce their sponsorships quite a bit. Almost every interview you hear, oh yeah, this Busch Ford ran great in qualifying, and we had a good run car, the Jimmy John's Ford. Hey, why can't? How is it? Why is it so hard for the announcer to say, hey, look at Kevin Harvick in that number 4 Jimmy John's Ford. He's moving up through that field. Or as Mike Joy and DW like to say, where did he come from?
And I'm not trying to bash Kyle here by any means. We do that enough on a regular basis in our own personal lives, me and you.
That we do. That we do.
Haven't his Victory Lane interviews just kind of become dry and it almost scripted in a way?
That they have?
You see guys like Larson, Harvick, Johnson win races, and it's like the emotion is there. They're excited that they won. Busch is just kind of like that. He's cocky, and he's got every right to be, But it's just he doesn't have any emotion in his voice when he wins, and it's always, eat it haters and all that. And where's the emotion that you just won a race? It's a big race you just won.
Especially the playoff races.
Yeah. And instead you just say your sponsors, car ran great, crew did a great job, moving on to next week.
Oh. Yeah, I just don't get that sometimes.
Yeah. Does that conclude your rant for this week, Ryan?
That it does. There will be more rants coming up. And I do have something to say on this. And you can do this through our Twitter, Facebook. People's favorite announcers of all time.
You want to do like a little top 10 or top 5 next week on that? Favorite announcers
we could do
of
a
all
top.
Time?
Let's do a top 5.
Top 5 favorite announcers all time. So
whether it be color commentator from like a Ned Jarrett or Benny Parsons, Dell Jarrett, I thought he was pretty good
This
myself.
could be radio or TV.
Yeah, do radio or TV. Yeah, definitely.
Just name out your top 5, tweet it at us using hashtag LugsPod or at LugsPodcast. Yeah,
that's right.
Let's do that for next week. We'll do a little top 5 next week.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
And I figured we'll start doing your rant because last week you had a little bit of a rant, and the week before you had a little bit of a rant. So we're giving you some rant time.
And folks, I will try to keep it as PG as possible. So if I do mess up and curse, I do apologize about that ahead of time.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But let's throw out the white flag here. Predictions for
Dover. White flag, 1 to go. Predictions for Dover. I said it earlier. You said you're going to have to change your pick. Well, guess what? You're going to have to change your pick. 48 victory lane. He runs so good at that place, and I think he's going to get back. I think they found their speed last week at New Hampshire. I think it's time to get the 48 back to victory lane. Dark horse of the weekend will be the 41 of Kurt Busch.
Okay. Seeing as how you took my original pick of Jimmy Johnson,
Sorry.
I'm now switching my sleeper into my race winner.
Oh, nice.
Taking the number 20, whatever he's driving this weekend, Toyota of Matt Kenseth.
All right.
In my sleeper, the number 42, Target Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson.
All right. Well, I got 41. You got 42.
Yes, that's why I got them mixed up right there.
What's with me in the 40s this weekend? 48, 41. Oh man.
Yeah, you're awesome.
I try to be.
Still a little sour that you took my pick.
I'm sorry. I'm picking them in fantasy too this weekend. So.
Well, Ryan, we've reached that time of the show. Another week in the books.
That's right.
So we're going to sign off now. Hit them with it, Ryan.
And we will see you at the track.
Y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy the race.
Enjoy it.